Hello everyone. In this video, we will learn how to connect to SQL Server Management Studio. I have already started with teaching you guys SQL in my videos, but then I realized I had never really taken up a tutorial on how to connect to SQL Server Management Studio. Let's begin. Get out of here. So I've gone on to Wikipedia. You can also go on to the Microsoft site, but I thought the definition was all right. It says SQL Server Management Studio is a software application first launched with Microsoft SQL Server 2005 and is used for configuring, managing, and administrating all components within SQL Server. So for all purposes, this is the software which is used to manage the database, the SQL Server database. For our purpose, we need to be able to connect to the database. So we can run our queries and do the follow-on tutorials. Now I've done a small slide, and typically the landscape would look like this, that you'll have a client terminal or the computer you're working from, and the relational database management system, in this case SQL Server, is installed on a separate machine. So you will connect to that database and then send the query, and it will send the result set back to you, as you can see here. Now this could be an OLTP or an OLAP database. I'm not taking this up at the moment. I'm not going into details. Suffice it to say, it's just a type of database depending on the purpose it has to solve. So let's see how now this server could also be a local machine. So you could just be connecting using SQL Server Management Studio on your local machine. You can download this software. These are the links. SQL Server 2016 can be downloaded from here. And this is the link for SQL Server 2012. And I'll just fire up the Management Studio. So I'll just go on to Start and type in SQL Server Management Studio. And as you can see that the Management Studio is opening for us. Now, since this is on my local machine, I can just type in localhost, or I can just do a dot. But if it's a server, you'll have to put in the IP of the server, or the name which has been given by the server. So the name which has been given to the server by the administrator, and click on the connect button. So there are multiple server types. So we will be connecting for our purposes, which is running SQL. We'll connect to the database engine. But if should you want to connect to a tabular model or an SSAS cube, you will select this. So this analysis services is just a multidimensional database you can connect to from SQL Server 2012 as well. And then you type in the server name, and then you've got authentication. So you can have a SQL Server authentication where you type in your own username and password, which is different from your network login and password. Or you could just use your Windows authentication, which means that whatever credentials you used to connect to your computer, they will be used, and that security is automatically tied into SQL Server. So once you've selected the server name, you type so server type, you always want to select database engine for the purpose or the job we will be looking at. And the server name, you will type in localhost. In this case, because it's my local installation, you could just type in the IP where the database is installed. And for our purpose, I'll just select Windows authentication and click connect. As you can see here, I've connected to the database and it shows me a lot of databases. So system databases, which is master, model, MSDB, and tempdb. So SQL Server stores its own metadata or internal information in some of these databases. That is why they are known as system databases. And this is a database I have added and for our querying purposes. And this is not a system database. You can see there are a lot of other features also because it's a tool to manage the security and so on. But for our own purposes, we will just learn how to, so we'll just open this database and it will show us all the tables. Now the tables are organized in a format where you have the database and then the DBO, as you can read here, is the schema name. And then we have the table name. For example, the schema name is DBO and dim account is the table name. So you can consider DBO just as an organization, just as a way of organizing the data. So you could have multiple schemas. For example, your finance department could have a finance schema and your HR department could have an HR schema. And your sales department could have a sales schema. So it's just a way of organizing the tables. You could call it as grouping. So the related tables go in under related groups. And you can right click here and as you can see, it opens a query for us and at the bottom it shows us all the records. So I can remove this. It just shows us the top 1000. In this case, it will not matter because it is just 99 rows. But you can remove this and it shows us the data which exists in the database table, dim account. You can also open this from here, new query. So this is the SQL Server Management Studio. And in today's video, we learned how to connect to the SQL Server Management Studio and how to just query a database table. I will be adding the links to download the database should you want to download the database and try it out. Please do let me know if you want me to take up a video on how to install a database. I hope you find this video useful and thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel and like the video if you like what I'm doing, and it will give me an idea and I will create similar videos in the future. Thanks.